On this week's episode, Talk Turkey to Me. She packs hilarious Thanksgiving tales.
Jenna can't say that with a straight face. Talk turkey to me.
So I know we've had an episode about traditions, generally speaking, and we touched on some of our Thanksgiving traditions last season, but Thanksgiving is coming around, and we wanted to dive deeper into Thanksgiving and all the things because we have carved out some really fun things.
No pun intended.
I really didn't.
That's how that mom brain works.
I think we've created some special things around Thanksgiving that is sometimes a stressful holiday, and for some of us more so than others. And we've found ways to make it something that we look forward to. So who wants to start?
I think it's going to be really interesting this year for this Thanksgiving we're having this year, as like it's always been a very big like family holiday, and we went like no contact with half of our family, so it is going to be a much more
very different this year for you.
Intimate.
Oh, that's
event.
true, because you would do like Friendsgiving with us and then have your family thing too.
Yeah.
And you've said you don't like Thanksgiving.
No, Thanksgiving is like my least favorite holiday.
Why?
Agree.
I think it's because since becoming an adult, I have always hosted. And hosting, I like hosting, but Thanksgiving is not one of those holidays I like hosting because also I don't really like to cook.
Yeah.
So like I'm not.
But your turkey is so good.
I know, it is so good. I do like it, and it's the one time of the year I do it, but like I don't get joy from cooking.
Yeah.
Nowhere in my soul does it say let's.
And when it's your
cook.
house, then there's a whole different level of responsibility that goes along
All
with
the prepping,
that.
all
Even
the
when
cleanup.
like we pitch in and like all the things.
Yeah, there's all the cleaning before the holiday. Then there's the like mess of the holiday. Then there's the like post-holiday mess. And like we have a tradition where we like to go on a trip for the holiday for the Thanksgiving weekend. And because my family cares about Thanksgiving, we don't leave until like the day after. Where
So
if
how do you come back to a clean house after all that stuff?
You don't. It's like a fucking disaster.
Well, you
sorry.
can do things differently this year.
Well, my parents still care
Yeah.
about Thanksgiving tremendously.
They can go on the trip.
Absolutely not.
They can have lunch.
Yeah,
The
absolutely
trip is
not.
like your decompression after the holiday
Yeah.
in years past.
Yeah, and it's usually we go mostly to Great Wolf Lodge, and it's just a couple hours down the road, and it like gives us a like indoor pool experience to like break up a little bit of the winter because it's cold for me. Like,
Cold. Yeah.
Can I say my son just like 2 days ago was like, Mom, I want to go to an indoor water park again. And I was like, oh, maybe we'll be going on the Great Wolf Lodge trip this year.
Cruz has asked us.
As like a mom and son trip, I could see that being fun because Landon gets zero joy from Great Wolf Lodge.
Steve and I think like we've been doing Great Wolf Lodge since like Evan was 1.
How did that start? Like, how did you come to pair Thanksgiving, next day Great Wolf Lodge?
I don't exactly know how it started, but I know that it started with them like a place to see Santa and doing Polar Express.
Okay.
So Polar Express is right next to Great Wolf
That's
Lodge,
right.
and we wanted to go to Polar Express. And the day after Thanksgiving, Santa comes to Great Wolf Lodge, and some years he comes in on a helicopter.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Like, yeah, like it is a like
It's a big arrival.
All right.
it's a big arrival. So like we started doing that, and also just like piecing out after the holiday.
Yeah.
For like a longer weekend because we're not big Black Friday shoppers, so we don't do the whole like shopping craze.
And we're talking about the Great Wolf Lodge that's outside of Charlotte.
Yeah,
right? So it's
Concord.
like 2.5, 3 hour
2
drive.
hours, 2 hour drive.
Oh, really? Oh, from here.
Yeah. And by me. And it was next to the IKEA. So like we would get our yearly like IKEA run before we could get into Great Wolf Lodge, pack the car with whatever we wanted from IKEA, and then go to Great Wolf Lodge for the weekend. So like it started that way, and then we've just gone every year. And each year it's like actually getting closer to being like, we're going to get a tea hut where Steve and I sit and drink and while our kids are off doing God only knows what, because they are old enough to like be on their own. And I think this will be the first year that both kids can do all the slides.
Oh,
That's
that'll
a
be
big
fun.
thing.
Yeah. So like, I don't love Thanksgiving personally. I also don't like that we only talk about like being grateful for each other or what you're thankful for like on one day of a year. And like, it ends up being this whole like forced. Did your family, okay, this goes back to like, did your family ever make you do the high-lows at dinner?
Yes.
No, we didn't
Okay.
talk to each other at dinner. What?
It was literally my least favorite activity.
Was that an every dinner thing or just for
But don't you
Thanksgiving?
do that with your kids? Grows and blows? or
we-
something? Thorns and...
Do it in a like different way, but like I don't add a little kitschy thing to it. I just ask them. like
about their day.
Where we were like forced to go around and say like, what was your high for the day? What was your low for the day? And like that for me feels very much like that whole Thanksgiving of like, what are you grateful for? We'd have to go around and
Did it
say that.
spark conversation at least?
No,
or
because
was it literally
I'm
just
an
like
asshole,
a checkbox?
and I was like, my high is when this is over. My low is having to do this.
Okay.
Because that's what I would say every day. Because I didn't want to do it. Like, I didn't want to talk about anything.
I do remember in Thanksgivings past going around the table and being like, what's one thing you're grateful for, right? And we don't necessarily do that anymore, even with my family Thanksgivings, right? So my family still lives, most of my family still lives in the area. And then we will do like a small get together. Typically it's like my parents, our family, like my husband and son, and then my sister and her husband. My brother and his wife live up north and don't often come down for the holidays. So it's pretty quiet, like, and the food has gotten a little bit more streamlined for us, and we would do the gratitude thing, but it's gotten less formal over the years and like a little bit more haphazard, and sometimes it's at our house and sometimes it's at their house. But like the Friendsgiving, that tradition has like
That's my
gotten
favorite.
stronger
Yeah.
every year as it's gone on, which is an interesting sort of like shift, I guess, to observe.
Yeah, I could skip Thanksgiving traditionally.
Yeah.
Friendsgiving fills my cup.
Yeah.
Agreed. And Thanksgiving food, like regardless of the tradition, the food is like my favorite meal.
I do love
It's like
Thanksgiving
my least
food.
Yeah.
I know.
I
but
don't
like
care
the
for
turkey and the mashed potatoes and the cranberry, like yeah, if that was my last meal, it would be like a really good
interesting.
Thanksgiving.
Tanya's stuffing the
And I only
exception.
eat it
That's
with
what I
beer.
like.
Yeah.
Nicole's turkey.
Yes.
My Italian stuffing
Yeah.
is the only time of the year that
And,
I
like,
make this Italian
Cranberry
stuffing.
jelly out of a can.
Cranberry
The
jelly
rest
out of a
of it,
can.
like, I could take or leave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't really
that's
get that the mix
interesting.
of those flavors any other time.
Unless you go to Boston Market.
Yeah.
Or Wawa.
Clothes.
Yeah. But yeah.
I love the food part of it. I also very much get attached to certain dishes, right? And so I love it when it's consistently that every single year. And I think like when I was younger, it used to be a more predictable menu. And then as we got older, my mom got more adventurous with the menu. And like so every year's different, right? So we'd have Cornish hens one year, and then we'd have the turkey. And then
Have you ever had a turducken?
No, I've never had the turducken, but like
One day, I'm
I
gonna try.
like the
Not on
predictability
Thanksgiving.
of it. And so I think like we've glommed onto that now with our Friendsgiving, where like we have assignments of what we're bringing, and it makes me
And you
really
know what?
happy.
It is so funny. The turkey is literally the only thing I make the same way.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, because all your cooking is like,
Right. I don't have
art.
recipes for anything
But the
other than my
turkey?
turkey.
Ah.
And it's because the first year I made it, y'all liked it.
And we were like, you better write this
Right.
down.
And you were like, you have to make it this way every single year.
Well, now you need to do that for the seafood boil too. Your turkey and your seafood boil. They're
There's-
only two things that I'm going to make
yeah,
you
but there's
say Bible
no
to.
way
'cause-
that I can recreate like
Yeah.
those things because I season with my heart. And my heart changes daily.
With me.
you had an inspiration recipe
Yeah.
that was the springboard. So we need to save the inspiration recipe.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I also think it has to do with like Thanksgiving was always this like big stressful holiday in my house as kids. Like my mother would always get so stressed out about it, and they'd always wake up at like 5 a.m. to put the turkey in, and they have to like stuff the turkey and do all the things. And like somebody inevitably got a tasty pie in the fucking face, and like
Oh my.
they were like,
On purpose?
yeah,
Like for funsies?
no,
Out of anger.
yeah. Usually like everyone get drunk. Like it'd be like alcoholics who should have been drinking got too drunk, and like family
Yeah.
arguments, and like
Okay.
somebody.
that is one of like the bigger like drinking weekends of the year
Yeah,
too.
somebody always ended up in like we have had ambulances show
believe
up at our like
When you were younger.
when I was younger, like for like like holiday. So like when I took on the holiday, I was like, I do not want it to be a thing. I do not want it to be a big thing. I do not want it to be like a stressful thing. Like I could go without. Like we could
Yep.
I could go without, like, because I have all this like visceral feelings about Thanksgiving.
I tried to go without, and I don't do Thanksgiving outside of Friendsgiving.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
So what do you guys do on Thanksgiving Day?
We'll get like a Thanksgiving meal from like a restaurant, but I'm not cooking shit. I'm not doing
Yeah.
that. I tried it a few years. Like I have the same memories of my mom waking up real early, like to put the whole big ass turkey in. I'm like, it's for what? So like my picky kids will eat like 2 bites of turkey, maybe, like, and then I've got leftovers, and
It's true. Thanksgiving with kids and the meal is different.
yeah, it's the whole thing. And I don't like the leftovers often. And it's just like, I don't know. It's not a big deal. So we get like a restaurant meal because they always do like family style meals in all different places. And it's it's delicious. The last couple of years, it's been like our Persian spread. It's been really good.
Ooh, that's fun.
That sounds really fun.
I want to go to Persian Thanksgiving.
I want to go to Persian Thanksgiving.
What is what items are at Persian Thanksgiving?
Normal, like traditional Persian
Can you
dinner,
say what is-
like
You're gonna have to tell me more.
kebab and rice and cucumber salad and yogurt sauce and
That sounds really good.
baklava.
Yeah. And I don't love Thanksgiving food, although we have gone to dinner many times on Thanksgiving because I also hate to cook. And if I'm not hosting, none of my other family will. So I'm like, I guess we're going out because like I'm not doing it. Angus Barn actually has a really
I want to do that
good
one year.
Thanksgiving.
They do. We
Yeah.
actually bought the Angus Barn Thanksgiving too that you can also pull up and they'll put it in boxes in your car. And all you have to do is warm it up. And it was so good.
How expensive is that?
It was.
Oh, it's expensive.
It was really expensive, but I think my brother won it or something.
Oh,
one
that's
year,
cool.
and then in years post, we've tried the Cracker Barrel one, which is okay. We've done the Donovan's Dish one. Like I'm a pro at. I don't have recipes to share, but I'm a pro at telling you all the different ways to make you feel like you have good Thanksgiving food, but you don't actually cook.
I will say one of my most memorable Thanksgivings when I was growing up, we went, my dad took my brother and I on a trip down to Florida to go like paddle around in the Crystal Springs and stuff. And our car broke down. And so we had to have it like in the shop. And we ended up having Thanksgiving meal at like a Denny's, I think. It was either a Denny's or a Golden Corral. And I still remember having like a Thanksgiving spread at like one of the buffets, right? And I was like, this is the weirdest Thanksgiving we've ever had, but like it sticks with me so much. It was a good memory after all was said and I'm sure my poor dad was stressed to the wazoo, you know, but
Yeah.
So like on your ranking of holidays, where does Thanksgiving lie in your holiday ranking?
I think I enjoy Thanksgiving a lot more now as an adult, and now that I have more influence on how it proceeds and like the food that goes into it, I don't love the stress of it, right?
Yeah.
And so I try to find ways to minimize that. And so I think that's another reason I love Thanksgiving or the Friendsgiving so much is that we share the burden so beautifully for the food preparation. We have a system for bringing like Tupperwares with us so that we can actually like divvy out meals to go.
Yeah,
so that
there's
everyone gets
cupcake. The aluminum
cupcake tin.
Cupcake tins are
cupcake
it.
tins are great, right? And so I love that no one of us has to take on all the brain space to plan it and to make sure it comes off without a hitch. And then like the kids all get to play together and it's super fun because in my nuclear family, right, Ryan's the only one. He's the only kid. And so the holidays when it's just our family are really special and they're very intimate, but like also more and more as Ryan's getting older, he's like hanging out on the couch playing video games. You know, and when he was little, everything still revolved around him. And like he got to be the star of the show and he was happy with that, you know. But as he's getting older, it's kind of like, oh, wait, where'd he go? Where's Ryan?
And he's kind of like
no other
sneaky,
kids to play with.
like quiet. I mean, because he's like
I call him my ninja.
You don't know where he pops up at.
No, he'll just like pop up over a couch cushion and be like, I heard that. I'm like, cool.
You're like, where were you?
Yeah, no. So I love that we get that outlet for him with his selected chosen family too. It's really special to me.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like Friendsgiving means a lot to me because there have been years past where I've just been disappointed, like for things I've done, things other people have done. Like it just never like lived up to what I wanted it to be in terms of like my kids playing with their cousins or the food being good. And I just like that we do it like, I forget, like the first Sunday of November and it's so fun and it's so good. And then it's like, for me, it kind of takes the pressure off. I'm like, well, if actual Thanksgiving isn't as good, that's okay. Because I already had a really good Thanksgiving meal.
It'd be so funny, okay, in this like weird world I'm creating in my brain that we did like all of our families together for Thanksgiving.
Oh, big old cookout?
Yeah. Like all
Like
of our-
extended family?
Yeah.
My parents would be so excited.
My parents would be down.
I think that would be like so fun. We should try that this year so that we don't have to have these individual
How do you feel
families.
about that?
I have no
I
extended
know,
family
but
to
like, would that be
contribute, so-
welcoming or would that be like triggering?
Both?
Okay.
Depends how all of your parents would receive my family.
Oh, they'd love
my parents
them.
would be so excited.
Yeah, they would
Yeah.
be really.
But it'd be hilarious because I also would love to see some of our parents interact.
So my parents in high school, right, I was in drama and we would always have like cast parties and stuff at my house. And my parents were always so happy because I had a really tight knit group of friends and like they literally would just call them mom and dad. And it made them so happy.
love that.
So, like, you can call them mom and dad.
Yeah.
They were
would
very
love it.
welcoming when we were over at their house too.
Yeah.
And like when my parents
Oh my God.
died,
Having you guys at my house that I grew up in was like,
highlight of their life.
Yay.
Love it.
made their year.
We should discuss this. I'm open to this.
But it's funny because like once my grandparents died and my mom took on holidays, it was always a like what's the word I'm looking for? The misfit kit. Like it was like a misfit. Like if you didn't have a place to go, it was like all the like misfit
Aw.
friends were always there for Thanksgiving. And then
that's nice.
I got better for it. And like our first year in college, I didn't go home and we had like a misfit Thanksgiving.
You
had
started Friendsgiving before it was a
we
thing.
started Friendsgiving before it was a thing because
Yeah.
I would prefer like all of the people versus like sometimes with that just like you were saying like with you and Ryan and your husband, like sometimes it's like just the three of you, like that you want more to like play with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We grew up in Pennsylvania, and most of my family was either in North Carolina or like in New Jersey, like further north in Boston. And so there are some years we'd come, but it would be so big. Like my dad's one of 9, like huge, and cousins I didn't even know. It was like very overwhelming, but also like the only time of the year I saw those cousins. So I feel like
It's like family reunion time.
Yeah.
for me it was and I think that has influenced how I think about it now, because now I'm like, the most important thing is my kids make memories with their cousins. And
Yes.
so I have a really hard time then when like my sister-in-laws, you know, like in New Jersey aren't talking right now to each other, and we're like Switzerland, so like they don't want to get together. And like there's no way to have like cousins play to, so I have to really rewire it. I don't know.
I think that's the difference between like the chosen family versus
Yeah.
like so that like our cousin kids.
Yeah, or a cousin
Get to
kids.
spend
So
together.
I like, in the spirit of gratitude, I am really grateful for that. Like obviously for me, selfishly, and the yummy food and beating y'all at spoons, but
Do you have
also
a trophy right now?
I do.
Okay.
Also because like I hope that when they're older, my kids will look back at it. They're not going to remember if we did it on actual Thanksgiving. They're going to remember seeing like their moms and dads play and playing with their chosen cousins, and like that's what they're going to remember.
And that's what they're going to
Running around with turkey
recreate.
crowns on.
Yeah.
I love
Oh, yeah,
that.
the turkey
That
crowns
makes
are
me
great.
happy.
Kids are getting older, like they're gonna start being in spoons. Like
Or they're going to start inviting their boyfriends and girlfriends.
I am so excited for that. I'm not
you
gonna
are?
lie.
I'm not.
I hear
Tanya's
the
not ready.
hesitation, but this was one of the things that when deciding, are we going to have kids and how many kids, I pictured holiday dinners 20 years in the future. And I saw more than 2 people, but not my kids.
Yeah.
I saw 2 kids of mine and their friends, their family, their partners.
Yeah.
Like that's just, I don't know. I've just always wanted that.
But like on a reality check, as a mom of boys, like traditionally the boys' parents, this is the house that you end up at.
It depends on the parents.
Statistically.
It depends on the parents.
I would
like-
say statistically though.
I hear you, but I think like you make memories now and you make it a good experience now, they're going to want to come, or they're going to prioritize, Mom, I need to go to so-and-so for actual Thanksgiving. How can we do,
Yeah.
you know, can
Yeah,
we go Friday
it'll-
lunch? And you
it'll
will say
be that.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, this is why I'm trying to manifest my in-laws.
Yeah.
But that's a fair point though.
Just a little bit of pressure when you're the only girl, unless they end up not being hetero, which is fine. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Thanksgiving is, but I feel like the Thanksgivings where you do end up around the table, where you do collect people who have nowhere to go, misfits, as you say, like
Yeah.
those are the ones that are actually magical, you know?
Yeah, those
And
ones I love way more than
there's such
the
a spirit
traditional
of gratitude versus we're going to go to this like formal thing and have like place cards, and I've done that too with family, and it feels so stiff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
Like the
word for
gratitude
it.
feels forced. But I remember in college, like adopting, you know, we were getting adopted by a family, and like I think I brought like leftover Chinese because that's what I had, and you know, you just made it work. It felt very special.
Yeah.
I find the traditional stuff performative at
Yeah.
times, like going through the motions because we have to. And I guess it's like the stiff thing that like that sounds fitting for what it is for me too.
Yeah.
I had to do it with other people. It's been a long time since I've had a Thanksgiving with like extended family. I couldn't even tell you when the last time
Well,
was
we
actually.
are your extended family.
Right. But that's the
Yeah.
thing in my memory, like you were saying, when I think about this, I don't remember the day. I remember the season, and I remember Friendsgiving in that season.
Yeah.
Like the rest of it, I don't know. I don't think since we've moved down here, I don't think we've had a Thanksgiving with family of origin.
Yeah.
We've never been invited, so there's that.
Well, and it's tough. Like, I know that our family in New Jersey does things. Both my uncle who passed away this year was always the one who hosted Thanksgiving. And I just got a message from my cousin, like who has his house now, that she's going to host there. And I'm almost like more inclined to go this year just for that, like to support her and to honor his memory and for my kids to experience that. But I hate driving on Thanksgiving.
We tend to not travel on the
I
holidays
really hate the
because
traffic.
of, like, just accidents and the stress of it. And
Oh, and I
it's
love
expensive.
traveling on holidays.
Well, it's expensive to fly, like, unless you go off slightly.
Yeah.
But, like, if I'm going
Yeah.
for a true Thanksgiving Thursday meal,
You got to fly like on Wednesday. And
it's
that's the
really
most
tough. And so, like, I
traveled day.
feel really torn because, like, on one hand, I want my kids to go. I want to support them. On the other hand, I don't want to be in a car for 12 hours. And I
I
don't
say, how
want to
far is the drive?
buy the flights. I mean, it's like 9 if you don't hit traffic, but you will
Yeah.
hit
You
traffic.
will hit
Yeah.
traffic, multiple
So
times.
I don't know what I'm going to do this year. We have the whole week off at our kids' school. So we're off
We
the
do
Friday
too. Our
before.
kids do too. Why
So, like,
though?
I don't care, but I like it.
Oh, I don't.
But you could take a trip.
Yes.
Like an actual trip if you didn't have the pressure of, like, I don't know, I feel less like Thanksgiving has to be on Thursday. Like, I think for me, Thanksgiving is more of a meal with people I care about.
yeah.
Yeah, I think because I hold the like grown-up position for the holidays, as I like to like call it,
That's a good way to
matriarch.
put
the
it.
matriarchy. Like, I always tell my mom, she's like, she's always like, you're not the queen of the family. I'm like, I am, but you're the queen mother. Like, you're
The dowager.
yeah, like you're the queen mother. Like, you have a position. It's just not the like.
But like for holidays, you're hosting your cooking.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure.
And it's a lot of work. And it's like, my mother's like, you do it. I did it for 20 years. I don't need to do it anymore. So like, but
She's
like,
chosen to step back.
yeah, but
Could you be like, you are the pie queen, bring all the pies, like give her a
yeah,
title?
she definitely has a
Yeah.
task or whatever. But it's still the like hosting, the responsible
Yeah.
one.
Well, there's so much
brain
planning
space.
and
Yeah.
cleaning and prep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like, no matter what, I don't love, like, I also super don't love it doing it for a small crowd. Like, I would prefer if
It's
I'm
so
going to
much
do it
work
for
for a
a
small
bigger
crowd.
crowd.
Yep.
Like,
So who's hosting this year?
I think
Friendsgiving?
Ashley's house is hosting this year. Wasn't that
You
the
want to host it?
Sure.
rotation?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
That cooking a turkey stresses me out. I will do
Right,
anything.
because that was the other thing.
turkey.
If you're still cooking the turkey and you got to
You
like
said
bring
you
it.
prefer to host.
Yeah. Like, if I'm cooking the turkey, I would host because it's easier to do that.
Yeah.
Or
So,
you
like,
give me the recipe,
whichever way.
That's true.
right? Or like,
Tell
if
you
you
and I can try
actually
to do
use
it.
the recipe, then we,
Yeah,
Somewhat.
that's true.
Somewhat.
I can do a recipe.
Yeah, I mean, it's a similar recipe. This is the problem. So speaking of recipes, like, what is your favorite? Where did you get your favorite recipe from, and like, what is it for the holiday?
Cranberry from a camp. I'm not
good.
even kidding.
I
It is
don't-
my
Yes.
favorite.
I don't like real cranberry sauce.
No,
I
no.
do now, but
No.
I didn't as a kid. I don't
Wait,
like
do you like the
nuts.
chunky or the jelly? Like
The
the,
jelly.
Bell and
just-
slice it on the ridges from the can.
Yeah.
I do mush up the jelly.
What?
Why?
Why?
I don't know.
How can you slice it on the lines then?
I love it. Slicing on the lines is like the
It's
big
very
thing
important.
for you.
It's like very
my God.
Portioned out for you.
Positive.
And yeah,
Makes
just
it look
feels good.
fancier.
Oh my God.
Don't you smush my
It
jelly.
looks like a remoulade
Duly
instead of
noted.
jelly.
I do love the green beans that you guys have been bringing the last couple
yeah.
of years for Friendsgiving. It's like the thick green beans, and then there's dried cranberries and like goat
Bacon
cheese
and goat cheese.
Yeah.
and bacon on
Are
it.
those Donovan dish?
Are they what?
Is that a Donovan dish?
No, that's a Beto dish.
Oh.
Yeah, that's I like my green beans with bacon, and I don't know how it started. We just started. I think we got it somewhere, and it was just so pretty that it was like red and green and colorful.
Yeah, it's nice.
That we've started calling them our holiday beans. So there are
like
Thanksgiving,
that. I
like
Christmas
it.
beans.
I like it. So the turkey recipe that is my inspiration-based start recipe is from the Tasty like cookbook, actually. Like, you know, the like little snippet videos.
Uh-huh.
And I started because I watched the video for the
She learned on YouTube.
the turkey. And I was like, I could definitely do this. And I didn't even know it
not
was
my
like
reaction.
a written turkey. I literally spent the first year like pausing, playing, pausing,
no.
playing,
I
love
playing,
that.
all day. The tiny,
That's how she likes
the
to
like
learn.
60-second video.
But that's how you like to
And
learn,
the like
right?
recipe measurements are in the like caption. So like I'm literally like doing this all day.
We need to transcribe this for you.
It's not. I literally go look it up every year. The tasty
the
like video.
What if they take the video down?
And then I don't know, guys.
Oh, no.
We're done.
Oh,
You
we need to
send me the link.
archive
Well,
that.
I will take that as a homework assignment. I will write
Anything
it
that we
down.
have links for, we will share links with
Yes.
this
Yeah.
episode so that people can go there. So my stuffing recipe,
That's my favorite.
It's Italian like bread stuffing, right? So it's not one that goes in the turkey or anything.
Yeah, not
But
bed
it's
stuffing.
Nope. Absolutely not. But it's like French bread that you like cube up and then leave out for a day or two so it gets like crispier. And then it has Italian sausage that's browned and like broken up in pancetta and pine nuts and like all these Italian herbs and everything and some cheese. And it's so
good.
good. And it weighs like 10 pounds when I bring it over, but it makes me so happy. I have no idea how I initially found it. It was just like from one of the online cookbooks.
Do you have it written down somewhere now?
Oh, for sure.
Oh, okay. I'm just checking. I didn't like me. Who doesn't.
We might need to put all these recipes out there.
It is immortalized in my cookbook.
We're gonna make a sheep hat cookbook.
Great idea.
So we have turkey, we have stuffing, we have holiday beans.
There
What
will be
else do we
one
do?
recipe from
Mashed
Nicole.
potatoes I usually make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to put the crab boil in there once I figure out like what the actual recipe is of that.
Yeah. We do mac and cheese, but out of a box usually.
It has to be the blue deluxe box, so Ryan will eat it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so I'll eat it. 'Cause that's
I like
delicious.
the Costco mac and cheese. Like if I wasn't constrained by the children, that
Yeah.
I
I
do
do
like
like the
Costco
Costco.
mac and cheese.
I don't think I've ever had the Costco mac and cheese.
It's good, and I'm pretty.
It's like the big spirally noodles.
Yeah. But then that also brings up to like, so if you host, right, and I buy the turkey,
so
right, like, you know, we're talking about like, it's just not even that. It's like, if I host Thanksgiving and Christmas, and so like I'm buying the main meal for each one, it like ends up being really expensive. So how do you guys like budget holiday cost of food itself?
outside of groceries. It's not part of the grocery budget.
Yeah,
for
it's
us.
a holiday
Really?
budget line.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I literally put it in my grocery budget and I like skimp on the other item that we do
in
whatever.
September because
Yeah.
you have preparing.
That
for-
makes
It's
sense.
part of one of the
yeah.
reasons why I do shelf timber because like we clear out all the things that like we didn't cook. And shelf timber, for people who don't know, it's like we don't really buy groceries other than like $50 worth of fresh groceries a week for like eggs, milk, bread, or whatever. And then we use everything else in our freezer and our pantry that we might have to make meals.
It's a good time to like turn over anyway.
Yeah.
Do that.
As a September birthday and advocating for Evan, like does it have to be our birthday month? I mean,
I just like, please, Evan, we have so much salmon. He's like, thank God, like,
True.
let's eat salmon for 7.
and by the end of the
weeks.
month, if they're out, then
Yeah.
time for grocery shopping.
And it's not like my
but
kids
it's-
even notice.
yeah, it does get expensive though. I know that your stuffing that you make
The
is
stuffing
like
is really expensive.
really expensive.
I think it was like $30.
And that's
all
tricky
in
for
to
me
make
because
that.
I feel like my favorite stuff is literally the cheap stuff. Like I would be so happy with mashed potatoes, cranberry in a can, and like Rice Krispie treats.
I mean, now that Venmo has this like group
Oh,
feature,
yeah.
it would be so easy for us to
that's
just keep
true.
track of like tabs of what we've spent for at least for our Friendsgiving, right? And then like we divvy it out. Like I would be so happy to do that.
Yeah.
Right? Because
Yeah.
it is,
Good idea.
It is hard. Like the turkey is so expensive, and then it's also so time consuming that it's not fair for you to have to
yeah,
like
because
take
it'd be
all of that
huge
off.
to serve all these people.
Yeah,
It's
he's
a lot of
usually
A
20
small
pound turkey.
child in the sink as you're rinsing.
He
it
is
off,
20
like,
pounds every year.
We don't always have space to fit that. Like I wouldn't know where to put that in my.
Well, I have 4 freezers.
I know that's why the one year I hosted, you brought the turkey to my house, which was I was very grateful. But
Yeah.
you were like never again.
Never again.
Yeah.
Will I cook the turkey somewhere else because it's just so,
So stressful.
hard to like
Yeah.
move the juices and the turkey in the like pan and like the timing.
Keep it hot too.
Yeah, and the timing of cooking the turkey itself is just like it's hard when you're like going somewhere.
Yeah.
Versus like when it's at your house.
So wait, Ashley, how would you feel about cooking the turkey this year? Is that something you'd be excited to do? Is that something that like is going to make you lose sleep? Like,
I won't lose sleep over it.
I like how it's like I'm not gonna lose sleep, but I'm not gonna enjoy it.
I don't
with
like
the nails.
I don't like touching raw meat.
I don't either.
Okay.
Interesting.
Like I never
like,
wore
do it.
gloves,
I
and
can't eat
I
it.
remember the first time I cooked a whole turkey. Maybe it was even like a chicken or something, and it was small. It was maybe like 8 or 9 pounds, the size of like an infant. I remember standing in the kitchen, hands under the wings, like,
Oh,
Yay.
and like the turkey,
if I
you have
touch
to
the
like
raw meat,
separate the skin.
I can't eat it. Oh, I
Like,
can't even talk about
separate
it.
The skin from the body, and you shove.
La 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 la.
I know.
so would Bob take that
I
on? Is
can't.
that something he
I won't
would
eat it
enjoy
if I
doing?
touch it.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, he's much more okay with that than like I am, but
Listen, I'm happy to host.
I season it better.
Like Landon in our house, right? Landon is predominantly the chef in our family between the two
and
of
I'm
us.
the holiday chef. Bob does all the regular cooking.
Yeah.
So like this is my thing.
Same. Like
I have
he's
specialty dishes.
I'm out.
Like I do the stuffing, right? And he's like, it doesn't even touch it. But on the day-to-day basis, and then just for funsies, like he enjoys cooking. And so by and large, like he's responsible when we host our big dinners or whatever, like he takes point on the cooking and all of those things, right? So if that becomes like a sticking point, I'm sure Landon would be willing to help.
Like
No, I'm happy to do it if I'm hosting because it makes the most sense to, like you're saying, like have the turkey in one place.
Okay.
But
I just wanted
I'm
to
glad
check in.
it came up so I can mention
and then to put it out there, like I'm
elbows.
happy to continue hosting. I just also know that like it can be a track to my house.
We
So,
can
like
figure it
I'm
out.
happy to host. It's easy enough to like do it here, right? And I'm happy to do the turkey. Don't you guys have like gloves?
I mean, yeah,
We're gonna get our gloves up to here.
Because if I have to stick my arm in the cavity of a turkey to pull things out, like I need.
And you got to pull the bag of the like
Nope.
gut.
Nope.
stuff.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay.
Oh, actually, nope. Yeah, that can be a whole other thing. But there's one part of that I actually do enjoy and find delicious. But no, like it'll be okay. We actually keep gloves in our kitchen, like
we do too.
Yes, we do too.
all the time.
Who
Like,
touches meat with their hands?
I grew up being taught that way.
Oh no, my parents do, but that's disgusting. We don't do it.
Sure, maybe it's a generational thing, but I'm
don't
always
touch
like,
meat with
why
my
don't?
hands.
Okay, funny story on that note. So I was raised to touch the meat; it's all fine. But whenever we were cutting up eggplant, we had to wear gloves
Oh, interesting. Why eggplant?
because it stains your fingers. Like the meat of it turns your fingers like a gray black.
Eggplant does?
Yep, raw eggplant.
Interesting.
There's a lot of eggplant Persian food.
Yeah, I don't eat a lot of eggplant. The only time this food is really stained is when I used to prunes. I made Evan food once, like as a baby, and I made and like my hands were purple for like a week,
I bet.
and I didn't know that was like a thing.
Gloves forever.
Yeah. So, what are some of? We'd love to hear from our listeners. Like, what is their favorite Thanksgiving tradition? What is your favorite Thanksgiving meal? And drop a recipe card here. Maybe we can try some new ones this year.
Just don't mess with the favorites, please.
Yeah.
I would be okay hearing like other recipes.
I will hear the other recipes.
She's like, we are not
Don't
having
mess
them.
with my stuffing.
I have, maybe it's a little PTSD of like big important meals becoming a test kitchen for new recipes.
Yeah.
I disagree with.
Interesting.
My mom has a different approach. She likes to get creative and she'll try brand new recipes without having done them before. And then it becomes a little
Don't
more
do that on
stressful.
the Thanksgiving.
Not on your Thanksgiving holiday, but on a Tuesday, it's fine.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. So if you enjoyed today's episode, make sure to follow, subscribe, tag us in your favorite recipes or your favorite like content creators in their Thanksgiving meals. Because like we'd love to see. I need a video.
We didn't even talk about dessert, but that'll come with Christmas.
Oh,
We can talk about
dessert.
dessert.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I mean, what other than pumpkin pie is there?
pecan pie,
Ugh.
Apple pie,
Ugh.
sweet potato pie.
It's only pumpkin.
chocolate
Apple
cookies, Rice Krispies.
Thanksgiving is pumpkin pie, and I will die on that hill.
Yeah.
I don't agree.
Okay, well, for the next
Pumpkin, team pumpkin.
team pumpkin.
Are you team pumpkin or team apple pie? Because we need to know. Like, not you, the listeners. They will be on my team. Pumpkin
doubt
will
it.
prevail.
That's what I said.
So you said.
Is there any other dessert besides pumpkin pie for Thanksgiving?
apple.
I
said
yes,
apple.
apple.
Say apple.
So we're both on pumpkin.
I
too, and
only
I
eat
totally
pumpkin.
missed that.
I was like, I don't eat apple pie. Gross.
Well, it's ice cream.
No, pumpkin pie.
Well, thank you
I digress.
guys for being a part of our pack.
Or pumpkin pack.
Our
Our pumpkin pack. Yes. This is Ashley, Jenny, Nicole, and Tanya gobbling off Stay Wild and Fierce.